Hello, hello chess fans, and welcome to our live coverage of the 2017 Tata Steel Chess Festival. We are in the thick of things here in the championship rounds, round 11. Most of the games have been decided already. The big news is our leader, Wesley So, made a very comfortable draw as black, maintaining his +4 result. But the chasing pack of 5 players, the Chinese Grandmaster Wei Yi, managed to defeat Sergei Karyakin to carry him into clear second at the moment at +3. There are 2 games that are ongoing, still in progress. Ian versus Pavel looks very, very drawish, as well as the game between Radek and Livonian also looks like a draw. Let's pick up the action in both those games. We'll first turn to the game of Radek versus Livonian. White was having a little bit of a problem with his knight on e6, but he did manage at move 42 to play the move knight d8 and get his knight that had been a little bit stuck out of the danger zone. And although he's a pawn ahead at the moment, with his very active rook on b1, as well as the fact that this majority, White's majority on the queen side can be kept, I guess I can say, in check, but blocked with the move g5, g4. I think that this is very much more likely to be a draw than a result for either player. A draw would mean that Livon would only maintain a +2 score with 2 rounds to go. In the other game of Ian and Pavel, the move d4, d3 has just been played. My first thought was actually that Ian may have a plus, in other words, that this pawn on d3 was more of a liability than an asset. But then after more thinking about the position, it felt like no, that this is actually the knight on e5 is very, very well placed. This was closer to being a draw than a result as well. Move like, for example, king c1, setting, what White would like to do is play the move rook g5 without allowing knight takes f3 check, so you can play a move like king c1 to play the move rook g5 and capture on d3. So this game, Pavel seemed to have more of a pull than, if anybody had a pull, it seemed to me that black did. But this game seems to be heading to a draw. Let's just take a look at the very exciting group, the challengers. Oops. I always double click that for some strange reason.
Always happens once a day.
At least once a day. You know it's me. Now, the games that I'm interested in are the ones between, we have a 3-way tie for first. Marcus Rager is one of those players. He's white against Nils. Ooh, interesting things have happened. Check. And we have this position. 2 connected pass pawns. Maybe let me see. I'll turn off my, maybe. Well, very active black, very, very active black pieces. I'm suspecting the position is more like a draw than anything, but those 2 connected pass pawns, g2, h2, convince me that White should have some kind of chances here. Still looks to be like a draw. Let me see the other very critical games that were ongoing. Jeffrey has won against Ilias Miran. We left it in a position, we had Jeroen Vandenberg, the tournament director, along with us. It was just about this position when I thought, okay, I saw c6 when the pawn, the pass pawn, pardon me, combined with threats on the back rank, it looked winning. A3, King G2. Whoa. Okay, that's a bit of a head scratcher for me. What am I missing? It looks, I thought that the pawn was simply going to go to C7, the rook was going to go to D8, that's all she wrote. But Jeffrey played the move King G2, Queen B2. Could it be that, I'm not sure what it is. But okay, Queen D5. Ideas here of rook takes G6. King, now that's interesting. King, rook takes G6 anyway, no matter how you capture, whether with the pawn or with the king. If you capture with the king, white can play queen, check, and spear the rook. Took with the pawn, takes the rook, queen E5, after the pawn on E4, but now came C7, queen takes E4, king H2, queen D4, and with this move, Ilya also resigned. It's clear that Jeffrey is not about to allow queen F2. He will play queen F8, check, followed by promoting. And thanks to this win, after Marcus raced to a 4-0 start, it's actually Jeffrey at this exact moment in clear first place in the challengers group as the world junior champion seeks to qualify for next year's Masters group. Now there was another, this is the current standings going into the round, I believe. You see the three-way tie between Marcus, Ilya, and Jeffrey. Close behind is Eric Hansen. Oh, but that's an update. No, that's with half update. It's because Lou. Yes, and Eric Hansen is still playing in the game with Gawain Jones. Let me bring that game also up on our screen. Interesting that all of the leaders are still at play, and it appears to me that Gawain is in a queen ending with 2 extra pawns against Eric Hansen, the Canadian Grandmaster, trying to hang on in this position. We left it a long, long way back. The players were still in almost theory when we noticed at this point that there was a tactical problem with knight takes d4. The rook on a8 eyeballing the bishop on a4. It appears that Eric had overlooked the snipping of a pawn, and now he's doing his best to save the games. Queen d3. Well, that move doesn't impress, but queen d3, rook g6, and black's king is much safer than white's, and black has a material advantage to go with his safe king as well. Eric is fighting his way to the position where we have now reached. And let me keep going. These queen endings. And I'll update my board. So after Eric is searching for a perpetual check, but black's king is, there's no perpetual check. Very safe behind this very powerful pawn on f7, which is protecting him from the checks. Wait a minute, what am I saying? You don't have to check here. So there is a trick in the position. So hold on. Let me update the game again. And he did play the move queen here. Oh, I see. Gawain has a different approach after queen g8 check. He wants to play king f6 And if you check, then the king is going to try to march its way up to g5 and to h4 to escape the perpetual checks. Perpetual check like this. And in case of queen check, now we can step back to g7. Well, my knee-jerk reaction is 2 pawns is 1 too many. And that Gawain Jones is in the driver's seat in this game. Let me go again just quickly back to the game of Marcus. And we see this last move has been rook b5, c4, rook b6, pardon me, to b4. Well, the extra pawn, but the piece activity, black's piece activity, just looks so good that I'm pretty sure that this game should be a draw. That is to say, Nils should be able to keep the position despite these two very menacing connected pass pawns on g2 and h2. Right now, they're not bothering anybody, and they're a very, very long way from promotion. All right, back to the Masters group, and we'll soon wrap up our coverage of this round 11, which has seen a lot of excitement. I do urge those of you who came late to the show to look at the interview we had. We had 2 interviews, one with Wei Yi, where he explained his very impressive victory today against Sergey, as well as Adiban Bhaskaran, his day in the sun as he played for the first time world champion Magnus Carlsen, and he was the one that was pressing, and if there was any result to be had, it was on the Indian Grandmaster side of the table, not Magnus. So Magnus is probably not pleased with the outcome of today's game, because he definitely was not the one pressing matters, even though he held the white pieces. So are we up to date? We just had this move, bishop takes d3 by Ian, getting rid of the most dangerous pawn in the position. That looks like a very good move. I always like capturing pawns myself. Bishop takes d3. And there we have a picture of Pavel with his new haircut. I mentioned that to him at breakfast this morning. So what is actually black going to do after this move, bishop takes d3? If he plays the move rook d7, well, we can see that it's necessary for white to be able to defend the bishop on d3 with the move f4. So that's not exactly what white... Capturing this pawn, well, I guess that's the best thing. That's the only thing to be done. Something like this. If I capture... I'm a tiny bit worried that this knight is offsides, but there is a knight check, and that game looks to be heading into the history books as a draw. We'll come back to the game of Levon and shortly wrap up the show. Oh, that was interesting. Instead of g5, g4, Levon played a5, a4. King came up to f3, maybe menacing an opportunity to play for king g4. Let's see. King f3. Now, what is Levon doing about this one? The Armenian Grandmaster is absolutely... Aha! I see that he has some tricky ideas, perhaps, of playing for an a3 and a bishop d3 looking to take advantage of this knight that could easily be hanging. So, well, you don't want to play bishop d3, rook check, and walk head over heels into a mating net yourself with g3, g4. That would be horrific. So what was the idea of a4? I am not certain. I'm still trying to decipher this one. This is not so easy. What did Levon have in mind? King f5, knight takes d5. That appears to be a showstopper. The knight not only captures a pawn, but is ready to push away the black king. So a4 has some ideas of a3 and rook b3 checks ideas. Not so clear for me. Okay, I'm a bit flummoxed here. I'm not sure exactly what Levon had in mind. I was pretty confident, let me put it that way, that when black was ready to play g4 and rook f1 check, that he was comfortably within a drawing margin, despite his pawn deficit. With white's king coming to g4, I'm less I'm less comfortable that black's fine. I am very, very curious. Has Levon let something slip, and has he missed something? Well, again, for our tournament leaderboards, these two games are crucial. Levon at +2, trying to get himself to +3. I think he's more likely to say at +2 based on the current position. And in our other game, it looks like to me Pavel, between Ian and Pavel, that game too will likely end in a draw. Oh, we have some moves, sorry. So after d3, bishop takes, knight takes king, knight, a3, rook f4, and rook back. Draw looking very likely in this game, which means that Pavel will also stay at +2. Again, our tournament leader, Wesley So, after 11 rounds, his standing with 7.5 points, or +4. Wei Yi, after 11 rounds, with 7. Those two players will lock horns tomorrow in the penultimate round. Magnus Carlsen, a full point behind at 6.5. Levon Aronian, still to be decided, as is the game of Pavel Adiban at 6 out of 11. So very big, exciting round tomorrow. Maybe the decisive, deciding round. We'll definitely tune in tomorrow. At the same time, the final round will actually be earlier. That is in order to accommodate the closing ceremony. I'll have to double check what the earlier starting time will be. But we'll be back tomorrow, same time, same channel, hoping you'll join us for this championship weekend ahead of us. Your host, Chess Grandmaster Yasser Seirawan, thanking you for watching, and we'll look forward to see you tomorrow. Good night.
Adivan, you played with the world champion Magnus Carlsen for the first time, and you decided to play the Scandinavian against the Scandinavian. How did you do that?
Yeah, okay, for the past 2 rounds I played some normal lines, so I thought, okay, it was time to play something stupid again. So, and Scandinavian was one of the inspired decision, and I think it was kind of equal till some point, but then he went for this Queen A4 check, Queen A7. Okay, either he has to be better or he is worse, something like this. But I got very good compensation. Then, I think I played very well. This Queen D7 was very strong, I think. But at some point, I think I was just clearly winning. I think, I just missed. It was pity, but still happy about the result. Yeah.
Do you know more or less in which moment you might have had winning chances?
Yeah, now my friend just told me that Queen G4 was the chance. Now I saw this Queen G4 Rook E1 and even saw Rook E3, but then I thought just takes Queen G3 check King F1. I just left it here, but I didn't see that maybe D into E3 is just winning there. Yeah, it was a pity.
I guess you are still happy about the game and the result?
Yeah, probably. Yeah, yeah, still. Okay, could have been better, but still very happy. Yeah.
2 more games to go. What other openings will you learn in one day?
Let's see. No more rest days, so time is less, but still I'll try my best.
Thank you and congratulations once again.
Yeah, thanks.
Anish, Pentala, you've just made a draw, but it was a crazy game, so we would love to hear about your thoughts. First of all, about the opening choice and the C6 novelty. Anish.
Yeah, unfortunately, I didn't look at deeply enough because the line is just very bad. So, I don't really look at the lines that are bad too deeply, unfortunately. So I had to figure it out on my own, almost from the very beginning. I only remembered variation where black plays Queen E7 instead of Rook C7, and then there is nice line Rook H1, D takes E4, King F1. But Rook C7, I didn't know. Then I think I played well, up to a point when I was a pawn up and had a better position. But then, I started. Pentala was also very low on time and had a very bad position, so I maybe speculated a little bit too much on his time. And once I missed this, I sort of underestimated this Rook G6 move, and after that, I think I no longer felt comfortable, and it seemed to me that the game already got out of hand. And then I don't know if I had a win or he had a win, but I think it was much cleaner before I allowed him Queen takes B2.
How did you feel about the game, Pentala? Did you think that you were losing at some point, and maybe then you had some hopes afterwards, a missed move of Anish?
I didn't have too much time to feel anything because I was really short on time, and actually I missed 95, 94, Bishop B7 and Rook HD1, and I cannot take Queen E4. And then I had to play Queen D6 to go into pawn down endgame. That was my best chance. So I think Queen D6, if I place, is just better because he's a pawn up. But afterwards, I think, okay, I don't know. I didn't think who was winning, who was losing, because I didn't have time. I had to complete 40 moves, and that's it.
You were just trying to survive.
Yes, I think that's the way to put it, because I didn't feel so comfortable with my king on e8, and then with 2 knights it's always tricky for black, and I don't know. At the end I thought knight f6, knight d5 is a draw. So
yeah, actually, critical point was I think when I played h3, then he can it's a knight sacrifice, which Pentala didn't take. I guess because of king h2. Yeah, after
sorry.
You could take the knight on a4. You didn't take it because of king h2, I guess.
Yeah,
and that's basically very nice. And to be honest, this should be like the final trick of the game. And after h3, I thought the game was kind of over. But well, of course I could have traded queens, but to be honest, I feel that with queens my advantage was much larger than without. I think without queens, I'm a full pawn up. So if you speak on computer terms, it must be +1. But I felt that in the middle game I have a superior position. And with so much more time as well, it's a miracle that I managed to let it slip.
Thanks to both of you. It was a spectacular game, even if it ended in a draw and maybe disappointing result a bit. But we wish you good luck for the remaining 2 games.